Listen, turn your Bible over to Exodus 33. Exodus 33. And then have a look at verse 12. Verse 12 to verse 17. Verse 12 to verse 17 of Exodus chapter 12. And then also make sure you have a copy of Unlocking Favor with God and People. If you don't yet have a copy of this, you need this. You need this. You need this. But it's on our website, by the way. It's on our website. The link is on my bio. Exodus 33. Do you have it in your Bible? Say I do. If you have it in your Bible, say I do. Tonight we are starting a new series tonight. It's a series within a series. You know how we've been doing it, but tonight we're speaking about the power of God's presence as we continue to speak on the subject of unlocking favor with God and people. We're still talking about unlocking favor with God and people. And tonight, more specifically, we're talking about the power of God's presence. The power of God's presence in bringing you to that place of favor, right? Moses said to the Lord, "You have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways, so I may know you and continue to find favor." Right there in the comment section, say favor. That I may continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people. The Lord replied, "My presence." I want you to also put this word down there. Presence, presence. He said, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Then Moses said to him, "If your presence does not go with us," listen to this, "if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us?" Let me read that verse 16 again. "How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us?" What else will distinguish me and your people from all the people on the face of the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, "I will do the very thing you have asked of me, because I am pleased with you and I know you by name." I know you by name. Moses gives us this incredible example to follow. He says, if you don't go with us, don't send us up from here. If your presence does not go with me, I don't want to go there. If you are not with me in this mission, I don't want it. And then he highlights something really powerful. He says, it is your presence that will set us apart from the people of the earth. It is your presence. In other words, in our context here tonight, it is your presence that will place us in a position of favor. It is your presence that will distinguish us and separate us. It is our system of advantage. The only advantage we have is your presence upon us, your presence among us. We have nothing if we don't have your presence. And if we do not have your presence, then we do not want to go anywhere. We don't want to do this. I am not leaving this place. I am not going to where you are sending me if you don't go with me. Do you know how unfortunate it is that some of us, it doesn't even have to happen to us. We just receive a word from God and then we run off on our own. We receive a word from God and then we do not inquire about his presence to say, God, I'm more than willing to do this, but I need you with me every single step of the way. I want to always know. Listen, I want to always know that I never have to search for the presence of God, that he is with me. When I say no, I'm not saying no in the sense of I know it logically that he will never leave me nor forsake me. Just theoretically, because I've read it, because I've heard it, I know that God is always with me. No. I am talking about a knowing that comes from experience, based on my daily life, based on every single part of my life. I can't help but notice that God is with me. And if you are not so sure about that yet, I want you to relax. We're going to get into this over these next few days. So just, it's okay. We're going to do this together. We're going to peel this back together. But what we're talking about is the presence of God. It makes all the difference, my friend. The presence of God makes all the difference. He says, we don't want to go anywhere if you are not with us. It says, then Moses, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? What else will set me apart? Let's put it very simply, my friend. Let's put it very simply. In a marketplace where thousands of CVs are coming in every single day, I need something to set me apart. I need something to set me apart. In a marketplace where there are countless other people are starting the same business, I need something to set me apart. You hear what I'm saying? Listen, let me put it to you this way. In a world where there are so many voices speaking not only to me but also to my children, I need something to set my voice apart for my children, so that although there are so many other voices speaking to them, there will be one voice that influences them, that influences their actions. I need something to set me apart. It doesn't matter what it is, my friend. What else will set me apart? Moses comes to the conclusion that it is your presence. But here's the interesting thing. In the beginning, you know what he asked for? He said, if you are pleased with me, teach me your ways so that I may know you and continue to find favor with you. So in the beginning, he would just settle for some knowledge. In the beginning, he said, Lord, just teach me. If you teach me, if you show me what to do, if you tell me what to do, if you tell me what you expect of me, I will do it so that I can continue to find favor with you. And God says, I'll do you one better. I will be with you. I will give you my very presence. You will have my very presence to go with you. And you'll never have to wonder. You will never have to ask. My friend, the presence of God is my divine advantage. The presence of God is your divine advantage. There is something powerful about presence. And we've spoken about this many times if you've been with me for a long time, but there is something powerful about presence. Really powerful. There is something powerful about presence that dissolves my fears. It has the ability to dissolve my fears. Let me put it to you in a very simple way. I'll put it to you in a very simple way. When you are by yourself in a house at night and it's dark and you hear a little sound, You might get shaken a little bit, not me though, just you. You might get shaken a little bit because what is that sound? Where does it come from? Is there anybody else in here? What's going on? But when there's somebody else in the house, for some reason, the same fear does not exist. You are not shaken in the same way because when the moment you hear a little godum, all you have to do, is that you? Oh, no, I thought I heard something. I go back to sleep. There's something powerful about presence. There's something powerful about knowing that I am not alone. Something really powerful about it. Are you with me? So he says, God responds to him by saying, my presence will go with you. My presence will go with you. And he says, if your presence does not go with us, then don't send us up from here. Do not send us up from here. My friend, how confident are you? How confident are you in your daily walk as you sit in that car, as you are faced with that confrontation, as you have that challenging conversation, as you go and apply again, as you go and ask, as you go and knock on a door, how confident are you that the presence of God is with me? I'm not alone. I'm not alone. That's why I'm not afraid. That's why I'm not discouraged. See, at first I was discouraged because I felt alone. There's something about that feeling of abandonment. And so before we talk about the presence of God being something that you feel when you are praying or when you are worshiping or when you are whatever, listen, I am talking about the presence of God that goes with you. Not the presence of God that falls on you during moments of worship when your hands are up. Right? That's not what I'm talking about. Not the presence of God that only somehow falls on you when you raise your hands, receive His presence, raise your hands, receive His presence. Listen, I'm talking about the presence of God that goes with you. That when you put your hands down and you walk out of the building, you walk into your car, or you step into the taxi, or you take the bus, or you sit in that how train, or it's with you wherever you go. There is this knowing at all times that the presence of God is with me. I don't have to wonder. I don't have to feel alone. He is always with me. My friend, listen to me. Let me take it a step further for you. I'm talking about the presence of God that is with you after the tent has been torn down and the people have left, and all you have left in the house is scones and some leftovers from the funeral after burying a loved one, and everybody is gone. After all the encouragement, you are by yourself. You hear what I'm saying? The presence that cannot be mistaken. The presence that cannot in any way be questioned. He is with me. He says, my presence will go with you. My friend, this is what brings favor to the life of a believer. You hear what I'm saying? This is what brings favor to the life of a believer. You remember you remember when Simba was stood there. You guys know Simba, Lion King. You remember when Simba stood there as a little cub, as a little lion, and he thought he scared away the hyenas. He thought they were responding to his roar. But it just so happened that his father was right behind him. It just so happened that without him even noticing, his father was there. And that presence That presence does more for you than you ever could have done for yourself by your own ability. That presence is powerful. So we start off tonight on this note. We start off tonight with the agreement that the presence of God sets us apart. I don't know if you've ever been favored in such a way that if you had to ask the person why you, they would say, I don't know. There was just something about you. I know what it was. There was just something. You see, like there were a lot of candidates that came through, but there was just something about you. Say no more. Say no more. That when you stand at the altar with him and you are saying your I do's and you're trying to understand why. You're trying to understand why you were the one that was chosen. There was just something, man. There was something. Right? It's the presence. The presence does exactly that for you and I. That when we step into certain rooms, without needing to explain, without us fully understanding why, doors open. Listen, doors just open. It's because of who's with me, right? It is because of who's with me. Some time ago, I told a story over here, but at the time we had like 100 people here. But I've told the story of how there was a time a couple of years ago when I had found out that apparently the same banks that we bank with, they have favorites. Let me tell you guys now, if you don't know, your bank has favorites. They have favorites, and they set up these little. They set up these little lounges for them in different places. Some of you might find a lounge in Mall of Africa for the Standard Bank private clients. There's a lounge there for them to just go in there and chill and they work there if they want to. Your bank has favorites. I don't know if Capitec. Most banks. And I still, I still remember wanting access in there, and they said, can I have your card? And I said, here's my card. And I gave them my gold card, and they said, and the lady was so nice. She was so nice, man. I can't even fault her. She was so nice. She said, your card does not qualify. I said, oh. I was just checking, I think maybe you could show me around. She said, sure, let me show you around. Walked around and, oh, nice. I said, are you sure my card doesn't qualify? I said, I've got some money in there. And so it's not the money. She said, so it's not the money. It's not the money. You have a gold card. Remember when I was younger, I used to think you gotta have a lot of money to get a gold card. I can't be. You can have a gold card for existing, but they said you need to be a private banker. And I remember one time they came another day. I told a mentor of mine. I said, did you know that at Mall of Africa they have this? They have this lounge, and he said, oh. No, I go there sometimes. I said, I said, they turned me away. I said, come on, man. And then the following day, while he was at the mall, he called me. He said, where are you? I said, I'm at home. Why? He said, come to the mall quickly. I said, oh. When I got to the mall, he said, meet me at the lounge. I said, oh. And I walked in there. The same lady was at the reception, But this time around, I wasn't by myself. And so when she saw me, it didn't matter. It didn't matter, because this time around, when we got there, he took out his card. He put his card on the table, and he said, "We want to spend an hour in here." Put it there. And I said, "We do. I'm with him. I'm with him. I'm not by myself today. I'm with him." Open the door. Open the door. Here's the point I'm making to us. That might sound very simple, because some of you are like, "Oh no, I'm there all the time. It's fine, whatever." But the point I'm making to us is there is access that comes from having that presence with you. There's access that you can only see when you are not by yourself, when you don't walk alone. Just the knowing. Just the knowing that his presence goes with me. And as long as his presence is with me, there are places that I could not access before that I can now access. There are places where I would have been turned away, but for some reason they opened the door wide for me. There are people who would have turned me down, but for some reason they embraced me and accepted me. And if you had to ask, why did you open the door? Why did you accept me? Why did you give me the opportunity? Most of them will tell you there was just something about you. It's not that your CV was better. It's not that you were better connected. There was just something about you. Let's get into it. By the way, we are still introducing this. See, over the next couple of days, it's going to get really good. And I know tomorrow's Friday, so if you miss tomorrow, don't just... It's on you. It's on you if you miss it. I know it's Friday. But it's not month, and it's Mambara. Yeah, it's Mambara week. You'll be here. We're on day 18. We're on day 18 of unlocking favor with God and people, and of course it opens up with Exodus 33 verse 15. Then Moses said to him, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. And tonight, what I want to draw our attention to, how I want to introduce this to us as we introduce it in the devotional, is with this question: where do you dwell? Where do you dwell? And then tonight we're going to explore the different dimensions of God's presence, right? We're going to explore the different dimensions of God's presence before we get fully into this series. And I'm hoping that we can do that in 25 minutes. In 25 minutes, are you ready? Ready, set, go. There is one thing more valuable than favor with people, financial abundance, or a platform in the public eye. It's the presence of God. Everything you need in life flows from this one divine reality. Let me say this again. Everything you need in life flows from this one divine reality. And the truth is, nothing unlocks favor with God and people faster than a life that carries his presence. Nothing unlocks favor with God and people faster than a life that carries his presence. Throughout the Bible, those who carried God's presence carried something money could never buy. It drew the right people. It brought unusual help. It opened impossible doors. People favored them, helped them, followed them, and even blessed them, not because they were persuasive, but because they were marked. but because they were marked, there was something, there was this little thing above their heads that said this one. Wherever they went, it was just this one. This one, no one else. This one here. This is the one. Now, we're going to get into the 3 dimensions of God's presence. You see, in the Old Testament, we see the 3 dimensions of God's presence defined in the picture of the temple. And here's what it looks like. To help us understand this journey into God's presence, let's begin by looking at the Old Testament model for the tabernacle of Moses. This was more than a physical structure. It was a prophetic picture of spiritual access. It was also a framework for how deeply someone could walk with God. Are you ready for it? Right there in the comment section, say I'm ready. I'm sorry for telling you to say stuff. I just want you to participate. I just want to feel like you're here with me. I just don't like, Anyway, so number one, you had the outer court. Number one was the outer court. The outer court. This was the place of religious activity. If you don't have the book, you can write this down, right? The outer court is the place of religious activity. This is where sacrifices were made and cleansing took place. It was open to everyone, but it only offered the basics of relationship, rules, rituals, and obligation. Let me say it again. It was open to everyone, right? It was open to everyone, but it only offered the basics of relationship, rules, rituals, and obligation. And this is religion for a lot of people today, right? This is religion for a lot of people where it's just rules, rituals, and obligation. As long as I'm marking the register at church, as long as I'm doing this and not doing that, then I'm okay. I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's limited, right? There's nothing wrong with rules. There's nothing wrong with rituals. There's nothing wrong with obligation, but it is limited. It does not give you the intimacy that can only be found in a deep relationship. So many people live here spiritually. They attend church, pray when they can, try to be good people, but they're living on the edges of intimacy. They're living on the edges of intimacy, even though they do the right stuff. You can live in the outer court and still miss out on the true benefits of favor, right? You remember the Pharisees who always had this clash with Jesus. These religious leaders who knew all the rituals, all the rules. They lived by it. They enforced it. But when God walked the earth in the flesh, they missed him. They missed relationship with the Messiah. They still had the rules. They still had the religion with none of the power. When there was a healing, they would argue about the technicalities around it. But it happened on the Sabbath, missing the fact that a person who was blind can now see. You can live in the outer court and still miss out on the benefits of favor. Psalm 100 verse 4. Psalm 100 verse 4 says, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name." So we see that there's nothing wrong with it, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Once again, we're not saying that religion is somehow wrong. We're not saying that having rules and having these regulations and having these rituals, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. For the most part, most of our lives were saved because of rules that we didn't understand at the time, but we just adhered to the rules and somehow it saved us, right? If you're a parent, you know this. I know that when I was younger, when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to be in the streets after it's dark. I didn't understand it at first. I just felt like I was being punished. But as I grew older, I have to grow in my understanding as well. And all of a sudden, I start to be a lot wiser. I start to understand it to the point where I say thank you. Thank you for making sure that I was in the house before it got dark. Because all these people, they started with hubbly bubbly. Now, hey. So here's the connection to favor. The connection to favor. When you live in the outer court, your experience of favor is often delayed, limited, or inconsistent. Let me say that again. When you live in the outer court, that is just the religious practices. When you live there, your experience of favor is often delayed, limited, or inconsistent. And this is, listen, most people live there. You see just enough to keep you a Christian. You have just enough answered prayers to remain a Christian. Every now and then you get a little breakthrough just for you to say, Jesus. But it's not predictable. It's not predictable. You see, you cannot confidently run into trouble and say, listen, I'm not even worried about this, it's done. It's inconsistent. It's limited. Right? And that's that religion without the intimacy of relationship. Why? Because favor flows from relationship, not ritual. Favor flows from relationship, not ritual. You're still loved by God, but you haven't positioned yourself to hear clearly, receive freely, or move confidently. Let me say that again. You are still loved by God. How he loves you is not a question, but you haven't positioned yourself to hear clearly, receive freely, or move confidently. It's relationship, my friend. Listen, you and I are great, and you might love me, right? You might even say, "Oh, Abuti, I love you so much." However, there are certain benefits that I don't have because I don't have the relationship that you have with your brother. The relationship that you have perhaps with your children. The relationship perhaps that you have with a close friend. And so you might love me. Maybe every now and then you might say, "Oh, however, it is limited. It is inconsistent. And I cannot count on your favor because you and I don't have that relationship. I'm on the outside." Right? I am on the outside. I'm on the edges. You hear what I'm saying? And then after the outer court, remember we're going through the model of the tabernacle. After the outer court, we have the holy place, right? They now had the holy place. And this was the place of spiritual depth. The holy place, which is the place of spiritual depth. This inner room held the lampstand, table of bread, and altar of incense, symbols of revelation, fellowship, and intercession. Right? This here inner place, which is the holy place, what it held was the lampstand, the table of bread, and the altar of incense. These were symbols of revelation, fellowship, and intercession. It represents a life of consistent devotion, prayer, and growth in the Word. Let me say it again. It represents a life of consistent devotion, prayer, and growth in the Word. It's continual. This is where the character of God becomes clearer to you, and your discernment grows sharper. You begin to move with greater understanding, which unlocks strategic favor. Psalm 25 verse 14 says, "The secret of the Lord is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant." That the secret of the Lord is with those who fear him, and he will show them his covenant. God will reveal to people what he is doing on the earth. Right? He will reveal to you and I what he is doing on the earth. It's not random. Although he won't tell you that he's coming back on the 23rd of September. As some of us have December plans. And here's the connection to favor. Here, your alignment with God's will increases. Your alignment with God's will increases. You no longer chase opportunities. You start attracting the right ones. People begin to sense something different about you. Why? Because the more time you spend in his presence, the more he transforms your inner world. The more time you spend in his presence, the more he transforms your inner world. And the more your outer world responds accordingly. I'm going to say that again, right? I'm going to say it again. Listen. Here, your alignment with God's will increases. You no longer chase opportunities. You start attracting the right ones. People begin to sense something different about you. Why? Because the more time you spend in his presence, the more he transforms your inner world, and the more your outer world responds accordingly. It's interesting for you to know and to get to learn that what the life you see around you, the world you see around you, has been shaped by everything that's on the inside. And nothing changes outside until it changes inside. Nothing. Nothing happens physically until it happens spiritually. There is no victory that will be secured physically before it is secured spiritually. Number three, right? So now we've went from the outer court. We went from the outer court in the tabernacle, right? And then we went to the holy place. We went to the holy place. And now, finally, we get to the most holy place. The most holy place. This is often referred to as the Holy of Holies, right? This is the Holy of Holies. And this is the place of glory. Listen, this was where the Ark of the Covenant rested. The very throne of God's glory and tangible presence. It was the deepest place of intimacy. the deepest place of intimacy, and access was once severely limited. There was a time when access was severely limited, when it was only the high priest that could go to the Holy of Holies. It was only the high priest that could reach the most holy place. And we had to depend on him. Right? And so today, instead of saying, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned, we can directly say, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned against you and only you. I don't need the go-between. I don't need a middleman, right? I don't need a middleman. I don't even know what the middleman was busy with last night. Now I have to trust him with my message to God. Come on now. Listen, but through the finished work of Jesus, the veil was torn. In Matthew 27, verse 51, you'll see that. The veil was torn, and you are now invited in. You are now invited in to live in the same intimacy that Moses, David, and Jesus himself modeled. You don't need Poloko to pass your message on to God. You don't need that prophet and that one to pass your message on to God. You don't need that. You don't. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 16 says, let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence. Let us then approach his throne of grace with confidence. I no longer have to wonder. I no longer have to send anybody else. I know that I have the right to approach God's throne with confidence. Listen, this is where life changes. This is where life changes. People begin to favor you irrationally. You ever been there before? People begin to favor you irrationally. You begin to walk in divine authority. And you stop forcing things to happen. Things begin to move toward you. Why? Because favor is a natural result of abiding in the glory. Favor is a natural result of abiding in the glory. Now you don't have to clap harder for the favor to fall down. Now you don't have to scream louder for him to rain down his blessings, to shower down his blessings. Now, listen, I move from oh to just, oh Lord, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Another day, more mercy, more grace. Favor doesn't surprise me anymore. It doesn't shock me anymore. I expect it now. Not out of arrogance. It's not arrogance. It is not. It is not this kind of, well, I deserve it, God. No. It's not. I'm just standing on what he said, based on the fact that I live in intimate relationship with God. I live in intimate relationship with him. You hear what I'm saying? It's his presence. Listen, favor is a natural result of abiding in the glory. You become a carrier of divine presence, and heaven partners with your life. Psalm 5 verse 12. Psalm chapter 5 verse 12. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Favor. Oh, so where are you dwelling? Where are you dwelling? Let's pause and reflect. Are you lingering in the outer court where you're known by God but not marked by Him? You are known by Him, but you're not marked by His presence. And once again, remember, we spoke about it being just religious activity with none of the power, with none of the presence. It's just religious activity, religious activity. And some of us here tonight might say, you know what, that's where I am. When it comes to the religious activity, I do everything right. I do it. However, I feel detached. I feel separated. Or are you visiting the holy place, but not staying long enough for transformation? Are you visiting the holy place, but not staying long enough for transformation? I remember when I wrote that, I was like, listen, so many Christians live here. We go in and out. We go in and out. Every now and then, it's just, wow, Lord, I can feel it, I can see it. But we don't stay there. We don't stay there. And so we live these inconsistent lives, right? Our lives are inconsistent. It's, sometimes, we win some, we lose some, and we just accept it. We take it as it is. We just take it as it is. So, are you visiting the holy place, but not staying long enough for transformation? This is a genuine question for us. Are you just a visitor? Or are you pursuing the Holy of Holies, where your life is drenched in His presence? Are you pursuing the Holy of Holies, where your life is drenched in His presence? And once again, this is something that takes intentionality. Because I can tell you right now, you don't have one good relationship that did not take intentionality. I don't care how much you love your wife. I don't care how strong the feelings were when you first met her. If you are not intentional, it drifts apart. That relationship, listen. Intentional. Are you intentional about it? Psalm 91 verse 1. Psalm 91 verse 1 says this to us. It says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." He who dwells there, who lives there. Listen, not just visits, lives there. Not just feels the presence of God when the door is closed and it's just you by yourself. Not just feels the presence of God when I put on my little prayer thing. Not just feels the presence of God when I put the music on, or I'm at the church. No. To dwell there. to dwell there. My friend, I told you, I am not interested in any other form of Christianity except for that which transforms my life on a daily basis. That is the only form of Christianity I'm interested in. I am not interested in the one where we debate about things that will never mean anything to us while we are here on earth. I am not interested in the one where I prove you wrong and you prove me wrong. I am not interested in any of that. I am only interested in Christianity in as far as it impacts my life practically. Practically. That is the only form of Christianity I care about. Listen, the only thing I care about speaking to you about is what you can apply when you wake up tomorrow morning. That's the only thing I care about. I don't care about something that you're gonna hear and then tomorrow morning you go and impress somebody else because you heard. Did you know that if you move like this, if you go to Jerusalem and then you stand there by the corner, the corner there by Jerusalem, you know that over there used to be this prostitute and then she used to, and it means nothing. We just have this information and it means nothing. It matters only as much as it can be applied right now. Right now. That's as much as it matters. And that's the only thing that will have you staying. That is the only thing that will make you stay in the faith. All these other things, you'll keep falling off and coming back on and falling off and coming back on and falling off because life produces no fruit. Life produces no results. All I do is I always have a headache because I'm memorizing stuff. I'm just always memorizing stuff. So I always have this headache. Like, The presence of God is not just a spiritual reward. It is a practical advantage. Say it again. I'm going to say it again. Because see, now I'm calm. The presence of God is not just a spiritual reward. I'm not saying it's not a spiritual reward. I'm saying it's not just a spiritual reward. It is a practical advantage. Practical advantage. What does practical advantage mean? It means out there, whatever's going on tomorrow, whatever plans you have tomorrow, if you felt outnumbered, this is your practical advantage. In Exodus 33, and I'm going to go through this quickly because we already read it, but in Exodus 33, God tells Moses to lead the Israelites into the promised land. But he says he won't go with them. For most people, that would still sound like a good deal. You're getting the land after all. But Moses' response is what set him apart. If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. In Exodus chapter 33, verse 15, Moses understood something many miss. Success without the presence of God is still failure. TikTok is telling me that I've been live for too long. Listen, success without the presence of God is still failure. That's what he got. That's what he caught. He was essentially saying, I don't care about the promises, land, or influence if you're not going with me. If you're not going with me, I don't care about any of that other stuff. You hear what I'm saying? And God responded to his hunger with favor. In Exodus 33, verse 11, the Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. That is the kind of relationship that Moses had with God. It says the Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. People trusted Moses. They followed him. They feared him. Why? Because he walked with God. Because he walked with God. His leadership was anchored in presence, not charisma. That's the kind of favor that makes people open doors for you before you even ask. Benefits of God's presence and how they unlock favor. Listen, here are practical ways the presence of God directly positions you for divine and human favor. Here are practical ways the presence of God directly positions you for divine and human favor. Number one, it's rest that attracts clarity and peace. Rest that attracts clarity and peace. What do I mean by this? I'll give you a very simple way to explain this. I said to a friend of mine the other day, I was explaining something to him. I said to him, your most effective time will be when you are not stressing about the rent, when you are not stressing about food, when you are not stressing about anything, right? He's a creative, and I was telling him, you are most creative when you don't have to stress about anything else. See, the rest that we're talking about, the kind of rest that we're talking about is this peace of mind that brings clarity. It brings clarity. Here's what he says. He says to him in verse 14 of chapter 33, he says, my presence will go with you and I will give you rest. My presence will go with you and I will give you rest. A restful heart is magnetic. People trust peaceful leaders and are drawn to confident calmness. Listen to me. Listen. People will not follow somebody whose head is spinning. You are most effective when you are at rest. You are most creative when you are at rest. You are most useful when you are at rest. That's the truth. That is the truth. Right? You don't want to follow a leader that seems to be up against the wall. You don't want to follow that leader. Listen. Listen. It's okay. Okay, I don't know if it's okay, but I'm just going to say it's okay. It's okay for you to make a TikTok video crying. It's fine. It's not okay for our president, though. It's not okay for our president. Can you imagine if the leader of your nation just came, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I say, what is it these days? Oh my goodness, I don't know. No. There's something about that calmness. There's something about that. There's something about a leader who stands up and says, everything's going to be okay. Everything will be okay. Gonna be okay. Let me take it a step further. And don't get mad at me and say, it's men's mental health month. It's men's mental health month. But listen to me. If you want to be a leader, there is something about it. Listen, if you want to be a leader, you cannot be the leader of your home and panic when things look like they're falling apart. You cannot be a leader that panics. Right? And every single thing, you just panic. No, but it's okay. It's okay. He's also a human being. Okay, it's fine. He's a human being, but is he the leader though? It's like, people are drawn to a leader that is at rest. Right? And the presence of God will give you that confident calmness. Not because everything is going right, but because you know that everything will ultimately be all right. Ultimately, everything will be all right. Listen, okay, secondly, it is protection that opens longevity. Protection that opens longevity. Here's how the psalmist puts it. In Psalm 32 verse 7. Psalm 32 verse 7 says, "You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. When others fall by stress or scandal, you're sustained. People favor those who endure." People favor those who endure. Listen to me. To say longevity is to last, right? That staying power, that staying power, and the psalmist says, "You are my hiding place. You will protect me. You will protect me. Come what may, I know I am safe. I know I am protected." Let's go through this a little quicker. Let's go through this a little quicker. And don't tell me to slow down. You see what time it is? It's it's time to sleep. Number 3, guidance that makes you a trusted voice. Guidance that makes you a trusted voice. Psalm 16 verse 11 says, "In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." You become, listen to me, you become a trusted voice because as somebody who makes decisions, as somebody who leads in your own right, however, the presence of God will make you a trusted voice. Why? Because for some reason you always have the answer. For some reason you're always right. For some reason, whatever you do, it just works. You make decisions that reveal wisdom. People come to you for direction and reward your insight. They buy your book. And number four, radiance that causes you to stand out. There is a radiance that causes you to stand out. Listen, in chapter 34, verse 29 of Exodus 34 verse 29 says, "Moses did not know that his face shone because he had been talking with God." Listen, from talking to God, Moses comes down, and when he shows up to the people, they say, "You, Momo, you are glowing." And Moses has no idea. There is something about that presence that produces a radiance. The radiance, maybe it might not be a visible, actual glow unless you have oily skin like me, right? Then you glow for real. But there is this radiance about a person who is walking and who lives in the presence of God. There's something about it, right? There's something about it. The presence gives you an aura of distinction, a glow that makes people take notice. There's just something about you. There's just something about you. And then number 5. By the way, I saw somebody asking, what is this? These are the benefits of God's presence. These are the benefits of dwelling in God's presence. Number 5, you get uncommon favor and access. You get uncommon favor and access. Psalm 5 verse 12. Psalm 5 verse 12. We just read it. Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield. Favor becomes your defense and advantage. You'll find people helping you without knowing why. My friend, you know, some of these things, when we say them, people might feel like we're just talking. We're not just talking. Listen, you get to a point in life where people just help. They don't even know why. You try to figure out, they don't know why themselves. Here are our reflection questions and our challenge for day 18. Some reflection questions and a challenge. Please write these down. You see what time it is. Please write these down as I'm speaking. Number 1, which part of the tabernacle best describes where I currently live? Which part of the tabernacle best describes where I currently live? Right, you want to write this down, and then you want to sit down and reflect on that. By the way, soon we're gonna bring out that we're gonna bring out a journal that complements this book. So when we bring out that journal, save your money. By the way, save your money. I know it seems like you are always buying. You just bought one book. Don't be dramatic, but you're gonna need a journal that's gonna go along with this. After we're done with this, for you to have your own reflections, for you to go through this by yourself. That companion journal is coming soon, sooner than you think. Right. So number one, which part of the tabernacle best describes where I currently live? Number two, how has my relationship with God's presence shaped how others respond to me? How has my relationship with God's presence shaped how others respond to me? Number three, what would change in my life if I truly lived from the most holy place? What would change in my life if I truly lived from the most holy place? And this is assuming that you might have seen something in yourself and thought to yourself, I cannot confidently say that that's where I'm currently living. What would change in my life? And then a challenge for you for day 18. Carve out 1 hour this week. And let's even say just this weekend. Carve out 1 hour this weekend to pursue God's presence intentionally. Journal your experience. Observe what begins to shift in your heart, your relationships, and your opportunities. Now, when I say pursue God's presence intentionally, what I'm talking about, and sometimes we say these things, it's Christianese. It just simply means spend time in the Word. Study the Word. If you can do a 1-day fast, right? Even just a 1-day fast. Just to say, today, I just want to seek a deeper walk with God. Just do that for yourself, right? So journal what happens, from there, journal your experience. Observe what begins to shift in your heart, in your relationships, and in your opportunities. And let me tell you something. You will see it. You will see it. A final word for day 18. A final word. Living in God's presence is not about being spiritual for the sake of being spiritual. It's about alignment, transformation, and access. The more time you spend in His presence, the more heaven begins to echo your the more heaven begins to echo your steps on earth. That's when you begin to unlock favor that no degree, network, or personality can give you. That's when you begin to unlock that favor. Are you with me? Okay, let me read number 3 again. And I told you about it. Okay, number three. What would change in my life if I truly lived in the most holy place? What would change in my life if I truly lived from the most holy place? And listen, these reflection questions are just for you to really do that introspection, right? To do that work for yourself. Really do that work. So, somebody who has the book, please write down these questions. Please write down these questions. Otherwise, I'm not going to sleep. And you guys know I've been in the streets. Yesterday, I was outside. It's the first time I come back to my bed in 48 hours. Anyway. So spend that time, right? Spend that time. And let's be back here again tomorrow. Let us be back here again tomorrow. Don't disappear. Don't get into a Friday fever. We're here.